Alright, hello everybody. Today I have for you a book review, and that is going to be on Thinner by Stephen King. Alright, so quick synopsis. First of all, this book it's a Bachman book. It's one that he wrote as Richard Bachman, and it follows this overweight lawyer who gets who one day while he's driving, his wife gives him a hand job in the car, and he ends up hitting an old woman, and then her father puts a curse on him that he's going to lose a bunch of weight. And at first he thinks it's fantastic, he's losing a bunch of weight, he doesn't have to do anything, but then he keeps losing weight, and he keeps losing weight and losing weight and losing weight, and he ends up finding out that the other people who helped him get off of this case, on this, this criminal thing that he did, are also having mysterious things happen to them too. Like, one of them is kind of almost turning into an alligator. One of them has just this intense acne, like to the point where like it looks like his face is sliding off, kind of stuff. There is one giant elephant in the room, and that is this book was published in 1984. And when I say old man and old woman and curse, it's a gypsy curse thing. And that's the huge thing in this, that didn't age super well today, because that's not generally, I mean, it's a stereotype of, the Romani people, that they're, putting curses on everybody, and this is, they're very this nomadic group of people that go around starting carnivals kind of thing. So it hasn't aged well in that aspect, but you gotta read it with in mind that it was published in 1984. And it is one of the most fun Stephen King books out there. I will say it is so much fun. Like, it is, like, a comparison to the movie, which I honestly, I love the movie for Thinner. I think it is hilarious. It's the guy who they have playing the main character is, they have him in a fat suit at the beginning because they have to have him, get him shrink down really little. So they have him in a fat suit at the beginning, and he's just so over the top and fun that I love the movie. I love the book. I think they're just really fun times. There are some I mean, it's a Bachman book, so obviously he's got the massive downer ending, and there are serious points, but it just feels like such a fun romp that I don't know, it's hard to be really, mad at this book, honestly. Like I said, it's a Bachman book, so it is depressing at the end, particularly. That is one of the main differences between Stephen King books and Richard Bachman books, is that I don't think there's a single Bachman book that has a happy ending, at least a happy ending that's not, like, mostly happy because of revenge. Like, main character's dying anyway, but they're gonna throw some revenge in there, so there is that. But it's very colorful characters and situations. Like, there's so much of this book that I just picking it up, I just kind of keep remembering. Like, I'm never gonna forget, like, Hopley's face sliding off. That's the guy with the acne. Like, I'm never gonna forget that description of that scene, or Janelli. The main character is he ended up, I think, defending somebody in, like, the mafia at one point, and so one of the people he can call on to help him out is this mob man, Janelli. And Janelli is like a caricature of, like, of somebody who's like an Italian mafia person, but he's so much fun. Like, he's just so entertaining, and that is the entire book, is that it is just so wildly entertaining. Like, it's an early King book. I mean, it's an early Bachman book, I guess, but most of the Bachman books are very early King. Like, this is him still kind of getting his feet wet, and it's a lot of fun. It was actually one of my first Stephen King books too. I think it was like number 3 maybe. I think I know The Stand was first, and then I think it was Salem's Lot, and I think it was Thinner. And honestly, I just love it. This is the one that I think I always forget about when I'm thinking about my favorite Stephen King books. Like, I mean, obviously I go, like Long Walk, It, The Stand. What else do I love? are very, I really enjoy like the dark half and stuff like that. But I never think about Thinner, which is a shame because Thinner is honestly probably one of my favorites. Like I said, it's one of my first ones, and it's, despite the aspects of it that haven't aged super well, it's still a really fun novel. Like it is, that is always the risk with old horror and like movies and novels, is that with horror you have to have a villain. And a lot of the times, especially with older ones, there are either out and out aspects that, I mean, I don't know, it doesn't age well sometimes when we're talking about, you know, not being racist and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's kind of a fine line, you know, because like I said, like you've got to have a villain, and your villain can't always just be the people in power, you know. And it's, I guess, you know, that does get fixed by if you make your all of your characters, you know, very, you know, in-depth characters, which I was with this one, very stereotypical, you know, depiction of, you know, Romani people. But then again, with horror, it's like nobody in horror is well developed. You know, like that's one of the things with Stephen King that is so wild, is that he does have some very well developed characters, at least on his protagonist side. But especially when we're thinking movies, you know, like every single Scream Queen is interchangeable. Like it's a weird, tricky thing. But you know, overall, it's an old favorite, like despite its flaws, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, just purely on an enjoyment level. But yeah, that is all I have for today. I will talk to you later.